guys, it is Yups here with another entitled parents video, and I am sorry for the late upload. And if you like this kind of content, like and subscribe please. Okay, and let's start it off with anti-vax entitled mom kills my teacher's son. So today I talked with an old friend and this subject came up, so I decided to share it. I also mentioned that I wasn't involved directly with this story and only now managed to put the pieces together, as this happened more than 8 years ago. So because of my parents' divorce, I moved every year to a different school until everything was sorted out. I was always the new kid, but nothing ever happened. One week, a week into this new school, we were, as a class, invited to the funeral of a kid. I thought it was weird since I didn't know anyone and didn't know what was going on. Turns out the kid used to be part of that classroom before I joined, and his mom was the teacher. I never met her. She stopped teaching before I joined. They were pretty liked by everyone and never had a problem until the kid got leukemia. From what I've been told, it wasn't terminal yet, and the thing that killed him was that everyone went to see him in the hospital, including an unvaccinated kid. This kid died of chickenpox a while after, and because everyone knew and liked him, the principal allowed the class to go to his funeral. I remember there being a fight between the teacher and the entitled mom, but I never knew the details. Today, my friend told me the teacher sued and the entitled mom went to jail. Neither of us remembers any more details or even what happened with the entitled brat, but at least I know why I went to the funeral of a kid I didn't know. Years ago, I went to a funeral of a kid I didn't know. Turns out he's the son of a teacher and died because of an unvaxxed kid. First of all, if you don't even get your son vaccinated and he has chickenpox, you're a horrible person because your own kid is suffering. And to let him go to a kid who has leukemia and his immune system is probably completely destroyed, if not pretty useless at this point, from the leukemia, and you let him go and see him and breathe in front of him with chickenpox, you're a horrible person. Okay, that one was very sad. I'm sorry for that, but I thought I needed to include it just because it was very sad. For the next one, we have, you're probably not that sick, then why do I need surgery? Another story about my awful mother and grandmother. For the newbies to the thread, EM equals entitled mom, EG is entitled grandmother. This happened quite some time ago, so I'm paraphrasing. One night I was watching TV, my mother had gone to bed early, and suddenly I felt incredible pain all at once. I never felt like it. I felt like someone had thrust a sword through my stomach and then put a belt around my waist and clenched it tight. It hurt so badly that I was soon in tears, both from pain and because I was scared because I didn't know what was happening. I told my grandmother and she hurried to wake my mother up so she could drive us all to the emergency room. Now, most mothers would probably be concerned and worried about their kid, right? Even if that child was now a young adult, but no, not my mother. We all got in the car and she started driving to the hospital, but she griped the whole way. You're probably not that sick. You always do this. I'm in a ton of pain. I know something is really wrong. I had been a sickly person my entire life, and my mother knew that, but she still insisted on treating me like I was some kind of hypochondriac. Sorry, I don't know how to read. Well, we got to the hospital. Once I described my symptoms, they took me in right away. Not long after I was settled in bed, I was suddenly hit with a wave of intense nausea. I'm gonna be sick. The nurse grabbed a container and hurriedly gave it to me. Sure enough, I vomited, then again and again. It became obvious that I wasn't going to be able to stop, and they gave me a shot that soon worked to settle my stomach. It took hours of testing, but it was finally discovered that I had some stones in my gallbladder, and it developed complications. They told me that I was going to need surgery to get my gallbladder removed, and then pull it in for the next day. During all this, stupid mother was slowly getting a dawning expression that she had fucked up. Once we were finally told the issue and I actually needed surgery to correct it, I glared at her in disgust. Me, I'm not that sick, huh? I didn't think it was that bad. She feels guilty. Good, she deserved it. No matter what my mother did, my grandmother always stood up for her and defended her and made excuses for her. So I got surgery the next day, but was able to go home later the same day because it wasn't too major. So I was able to go home and rest. Though, of course, I ended up with a few scars from the ordeal. I made sure to rub my mother's nose in it about her horrible attitude for a long time afterwards. So glad I later moved out and cut off contact from these cruel people. I don't even think this mother and grandmother was that entitled or even mean. You had been sick your whole life, and maybe you weren't that sick during it. You just kind of exaggerated, so they didn't think you were that sick. So I'm going to take the side with entitled parents this time. But they weren't entitled. Okay, and for this third one, we have Entitled Kid Destroys Amiibo Collection. Entitled Aunt Doesn't Give a F. Instead of wasting your time with excuses about mobile and English, I'll just start. Background: I had a complete Smash Bros. Amiibo collection still in box. I also have had it appraised at an insurance company due to a lot of burglary attempts in my apartment building. They appraised the collection at 2,500 euros. My girlfriend, I had thrown a party for her birthday. Some of her friends and direct family came. Me being the Nintendo nerd, I set up my Switch with Smash Bros. For the children in my study. I work from home. I also had a few duplicate amiibo out of their boxes for the children to play with: Mario, Link, and Pikachu. We purposely hadn't invited her aunt because she had a reputation for getting her spoiled brat anything he wanted, including toys that didn't belong to him. An hour into the party, the doorbell rang. It was Entitled Aunt and Entitled Kid. "You're having a party that you didn't invite me to? I had heard from your mother." "I think I have forgotten to invite you, but you're welcome to stay since you are here." An obvious lie. "Fine, but next time don't forget or I won't show up anymore." Sits with the rest of the guests and talks. Girlfriend shows Entitled Kid in my study, giving me an "I'm sorry" face. "I want to play now." "Wait until they are done, you can go. I only have 4 controllers and there are 6 kids, so you have to share." Entitled Kid leaves the room and all is well in the world. Psych. In storms, Entitled Aunt yelling, "Why can't my child play?" He can play, but he has to wait his turn since I only have 4 controllers. "Fine, but if he comes to me again, you're in trouble, young man." I'm 25. Entitled Kid enters the room again and starts playing with amiibo that were out of box until his turn. He got his turn, and after tournaments, he had to go off again. He throws a fit. "I don't want to switch. I want to still playing. I haven't won once." "You have to switch in 10 minutes. You get another turn." The other 2 kids that had to wait were playing with the loose amiibo, and so they could have their turns. My girlfriend told me that 3 of the 6 kids had to leave, so I brought them to their mom and chatted for a bit. When I turned into my study, I saw 2 kids crying, cardboard and plastic everywhere, and a spunk Entitled Kid playing with Mewtwo and a Bowser. I grabbed him by the shirt and dragged him into the living room. I was steaming. Entitled Aunt, if you can't teach your child manners, I won't babysit him. "My child has manners. How dare you accuse him of that? Your son has destroyed my amiibo collection worth 2,500 euros, and you're gonna pay or I will sue you." "Sue me? You're too old for toys anyways. The judge will side with me." I have proof that it appraised at 2,500 euros, so I'm pretty sure the judge will side with me. Entitled Aunt grabs her Entitled Kid and storms out. I'm suing her and waiting for court. Since English isn't my native language, I love to get feedback. Okay, this aunt is a complete bitch. And I know the first one wasn't technically entitled, the second one technically wasn't entitled parents, more or less. But this lady just sums it all up at once. Very much. Okay, and for this last one we have Entitled Parent wants me banned from family gathering because I refuse to let his son hit me with a bat. So my uncle recently got remarried. So that reminded me of an incident that happened with his son, which was very young. Now, I used to have a very decent relationship with my uncle, who was the youngest of my dad's siblings and born almost 15 years after my dad. He was also kind of a wild child, but when he had a son, he really settled down. For the proceed of the story, my uncle would be EU, my cousin as EB, and I'm, of course, me. So during the summer, we would all head over to my aunt's farm during the summer. This year, Spider-Man 3, the Tobey Maguire one, best one, had just come out. So I was still pretty young, about 13 at the time. Entitled Brat was about 8, being quite a bit younger than me. Now, I was a late bloomer and just hit that wave of puberty where girls sprout up like weeds. We were talking about Spider-Man and how it was his favorite movie. I liked it too, so I tried to talk to him about it. He got upset and said girls couldn't like Spider-Man. Entitled Brat says I've probably never seen it. I roll my eyes and describe the plot to him, and he gets really mad. But for now, he simmers. Later, Entitled Brat asked me to come outside and push him on the swing, and I do. Once again, I'm much bigger than him, so I can push him pretty high. Now, it was apparently his plan to show me that a boy was much stronger than me. So when he offered to push me on the swing, I accepted. He wasn't strong enough to get me very far. This enraged him. I tried to explain because I'm so much bigger than him, I weigh a lot more. Entitled Brat wasn't having any of it. He runs off into my aunt's garage and comes back with a wooden baseball bat. I'm so shocked, the first swing hits me clean in the stomach. The second was not too lucky. I'm bigger than him and pissed because I cough up half the orange pop I've been drinking before. I grab that bat, wrenching it from his hand, and tell him never hit me again. And apparently I'm so scared in that moment that he runs inside and gets his dad. Entitled Aunt runs out and the following curves. "What did you do to my son?" Sputtering, he hit me. "Why is he crying?" "I didn't let him." And why not? He was just playing. He hit me with a bat. Not long after that, the rest of my family came down. My dad and uncle talked, and we just went about the rest of the night normally. Except I was told I had to stay by my mom. During the half-hour drive back to our home, my dad was pissed and told me my uncle tried to have me not just sent home, which meant the whole family would have to leave, but he wanted my banned from family gathering thereon. The fact my cousin admitted to everyone exactly what happened, and he saw nothing wrong with his actions, saved me from a lot of trouble. Naturally, I wasn't, but my uncle was always super wary of me whenever I was around then on. Okay, this uncle is a complete idiot. He allows his son to hit his own cousin, his own kind, with a baseball bat. And I'm sure that hurt because she coughed up some of the drink she was just drinking. That must have hurt. This child is an absolute maniac, and honestly, they could press charges because he hit her with a baseball bat. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please like and subscribe on the bottom right-hand corner, I think. Maybe don't worry about just subscribe and do it.